What's going on, guys? Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about this full moon and what it means to everyone individually. This full moon has a different meaning for everyone in different ways per se, but it also has a meaning for all of us in the same way. So with that being said, how do we know what this moon means for you and what changes it's bringing out for you and what feelings it's bringing out for you today? And also, the full moon was today at 2:37 p.m. and the degrees of this moon was at 21 degrees. And I know that a lot of you guys are new to astrology or you don't know much about astrology, but it's easy to find out, it's easy to look up, and I'm gonna make it as easy as possible for you guys to understand. So it's 21 degrees. So first, what you guys would need to do before I go on in this video, you have to go to astro.com, and I'm gonna put the link in the bottom of this video where you have to go and how you can get your astrology chart. In your astrology chart, you're gonna see a wheel, and the wheel is gonna have, and each line is going to be degrees. So it's gonna be some numbers, and it's gonna be a sign. So like, let's say the Cancer sign or the Sagittarius sign. So you're gonna see that next to a little number, and it's gonna be like an angle. It's gonna be like a pizza pie. So I'm gonna try to put a picture up here. I'm really new to this, so bear with me. But it's gonna be like a pizza pie, and it's gonna be in 12, it's gonna be split like a pizza in 12 different slices. And that all stands for 12 signs of astrology. And we all have that individually in different degrees, and we have that in different signs. Granted, yes, there's people that have the same signs or the same big three, but it's not very common, and you're just focusing on you, right? So you're focusing on how this moon is gonna affect you and how you can use it to be beneficial for you. So the moon, like I said before, it's 21 degrees. So not only is this moon going to affect, it's in Capricorn. So if you have a sun sign in Capricorn, a rising sign in Capricorn, or a moon sign in Capricorn, this full moon is really making you feel all types of emotions right now. That's what happens in a full moon. You get emotional, things get intense, you start seeing things that you weren't seeing clearly, but now they're really clear to you. Secrets come to light. What the moon does, the moon illuminates the dark. So when it's full, it's definitely illuminating the dark. So what it's doing, it brings a lot of things that are hidden into light. And it's good to prepare for that and to know, hey, that's coming, and to pay attention to your dreams, to pay attention to synchronicities, to pay attention to the signs, to pay attention to what strangers may tell you about out of nowhere, and it just completely makes sense, and you're like, wow, I've been thinking about this for a while, I've been feeling this for a while. So full moons are like, it's just full. It's full of surprises, emotions, revelations, death, rebirth, endings, and new beginnings. An ending is always a new beginning, whether we like it or not. An ending can be a lesson, whether we like it or not. So pretty much, I am going to show you guys how to understand what this full moon is doing for you, and you only, with your specific chart. So after you go to the link at the bottom, it's astro.com. So you don't need to create an account per se, but I would say do create it. It's free. So I'm so into astrology that I have an application on my phone. A lot of people have CoStar too. CoStar gives you your chart as well. So CoStar, astro.com, You go in there, you fill out your information, and you look at your chart, your pizza pie chart circle. So you're gonna look at that, and you're gonna see what house Capricorn falls in. So in that pizza pie chart that I was telling you guys about, each house has a different meaning. So for instance, the first house has a certain meaning, the second house has a certain meaning, and it all goes around now. Not only does it have a certain different meaning, like individually, it also has a different meaning according to the sign that it falls on. For instance, my first house is in Libra, but somebody else's first house is going to be in Capricorn. And having a Capricorn full moon is going to affect the Capricorn first houser in a different way than it will the Libra first houser. So that's where we get a little more in depth and a little more complicated. But once you guys know the tricks and you know how to see your chart and know the houses and know what house Capricorn falls in your chart, that's how you will know how this moon will affect you. So in this video, I will talk about how this full moon in Capricorn today, because it was today, and how it will affect everyone depending on where the Capricorn falls in the chart. So I'm going to start from the first house and going all the way to the 12th house. Also, I wanted to talk about how the degrees, like for instance, if you look at your chart and you see that you have Capricorn in the first house at 21 degrees, right? For example, and then you have your sun in Gemini at 21 degrees. Not only is this full moon affecting you with matters of your first house in Capricorn, it's also going to ignite the sun's energy. Let's say the sun is in the third house, right? So the sun's energy in the third house. So again, different for everybody. And we have actually a new moon and a full moon once a month, but they're all in different signs. They're all different degrees. They all have different meanings. And for instance, for me, this full moon falls in the 4th house, and hence why I'm doing this video. I want to be able to do this from home and be able to talk about these things from home to people that are interested in it. So out of all the days, I decided, hey, today's the day. It's in the 4th house in Capricorn. So let's talk about Capricorn and what Capricorn stands for, right? So it can make more sense to everybody. Capricorn person, or Capricorn in general, stands for seriousness. It's ruled by Saturn. So a Capricorn person would be a workaholic. They will come off as very serious, even though they're not. Once they're comfortable, they're not that serious. They're hilarious. I mean, Jim Carrey's a Capricorn, and he's hilarious. But when Jim Carrey has to get to the nitty gritty and say what he has to say and drop some gems and teach some lessons, he's good for that. That might have to do with his Mercury too, but let's not go there. He's a Capricorn. So, a lot of people say Capricorns are not funny. They're not fun. They're just too serious. No, Capricorn is about their money, their business. They work hard, but when they say they're gonna play, they play hard too. So let's just get to that. Capricorn also focuses a lot on businesses, property, being a boss, how to elevate. And this full moon is really making us all feel like that as a whole. So it doesn't matter what sign the moon is, we all are kind of thinking about how we're going to work for ourselves, how we're gonna elevate, what is our plan, how we're gonna gain stability. And that's for everyone. Now, the house that it falls in, that's the subject that you will be thinking about. For instance, how will this full moon fulfill you and give you stability? How will it make you feel secure, right? So let's go with this Capricorn moon within the houses, right? So the first house. The first house is the house of self. It's the house of physical looks. It's the house of how others see you. And if you have Capricorn in the first house, this full moon is being full in your first house. It's activating your first house at 21 degrees. And it's also activating any other planet that you have at 21 degrees. But let's just talk about the basic activation of the full moon in your first house. So if you have this full moon in your first house, you would want to, this is going to ignite feelings about, I want to look different. I need a makeover. I want a transformation. For the mommies out there, you're heavily thinking about or investigating even about getting a mommy makeover. Or if you don't need that, which is fine, oh, I want to dye my hair. I want to commit to a diet. I'm going to get a trainer. I'm going to join the gym. And this is a great time to do that in. Capricorn brings steady results. Like Saturn, being ruled by Saturn, Saturn moves very slowly, and Saturn is all about stability. And it's hard to get things through Saturn, but Saturn will also reward you. And the things that you get through Saturn are not going to be easy, but it's going to be hard work, you know? So more than the mommy makeover, I will say that people are thinking more with this moon in the first house. People are thinking more like eating right, training, gym, working out, dieting. So things of that matter. It's about your looks and your physical look. And let's just say if you're not thinking about changing your physical looks, Saturn also rules teeth. You might even be thinking about getting implants, getting fake teeth, or fixing your teeth, or going to the dentist. So it's all about the outward physical look. And if you have Capricorn in your first house, that's what's going to be activated. And that's what you're going to be thinking about doing. And it's a great time to commit because you will get good results and the results that you're looking for. Let's move on to Capricorn in the second house. So Capricorn in the second house, that's the house of, so we in a chart, we have 3 houses that involve, well, four houses that involve making money and working. But the second house way of being like a work house is about, the first house is the self, but then the second house is like self-worth. So if you have Capricorn in the second house, this full moon is affecting you in a sense. You're thinking about, okay, what do I own? You know? What do I own that I'm calling my own? What is it that I own that's giving me status in life, you know? You start thinking, what can I do to make money, right? You also can, like the second house, and when you involve Capricorn, it will involve the self dieting as well, because the second house is ruled by Taurus originally. So it will involve dieting, but also like, how can I make money? What's going on with my money? What is something that I own that I can say this is giving me status? And if I don't have nothing that I'm calling mine, that is worthy of calling mine, I'm gonna start thinking about it. I'm gonna start planning for it. So it's kind of like the house of the self, but that involves money. So what can I do with myself, with Capricorn here, that's gonna bring me some serious cash, right? So it's like second house, you're thinking about that cash. Like, why don't I have the cash? How can I get the cash? So pretty much that's when you have Capricorn in the second house. If you have Capricorn in the third house, Capricorn in the third house. Third house rules friendships, vehicles, electronics, neighbors, siblings. And if you have Capricorn there, you might, and you know, one thing I gotta mention too, depending where you have Capricorn, for instance, like the third house rules siblings and cousins, right? And during this full moon, if you're not a Capricorn and you have Capricorn in the third house, you're gonna like hear from a long lost cousin that's a Capricorn, or a sister or a brother, or you're going to really feel like a friend of yours is like, wow, I really love this person like family, you know? Or you're gonna have this neighbor that's a Capricorn that's coming to you for advice, or you're going to have a Capricorn car. No, I'm joking. You're not gonna have a Capricorn car. But I'm just saying, like, having Capricorn in the third house, it also rules communication and it also rules writing. So you might start to think about, oh, I want to create that YouTube channel, or I want to go live and communicate about something that's been really on my mind, and I want the world to hear about it. Or I want to start writing this book that I've been thinking about. And to have Capricorn in the third house in this full moon and manifesting that and committing to that is such a great time to do that. You just have to meditate today, get your thinking boots on, and start thinking about where Capricorn falls in your house, what you can do in that house to benefit you and get you that money, because Capricorn is all about their money. All in all, they are. If you have Capricorn in the fourth house, having Capricorn in the fourth house is not the easiest placement. Having Capricorn in the fourth house pretty much will have you. The fourth house is called the house of home. And it also rules your family, your roots from your family. So it's not just siblings and cousins. Now we're moving on to family. And having it in the fourth house is like how you grew up, you know? And you having a full moon in this fourth house is a great time to release traumas in that area. So it's same thing with the first house, same thing with the second and third. You want to release traumas that you had. And it's a great time to meditate under the moon. It's a great time to say affirmations and to release trauma. To have Capricorn in the fourth house, though, is bringing all those traumas to light. And it's a great time to feel good about it and say, hey, you're not going to rule me anymore. That's not going to dictate my future. Also, to find out how you're going to make money from home. House of home, Capricorn in the fourth house. We are in the time of making money from home. So it is a good time to start that business venture and stick to it. So if you say your affirmations, you meditate, you stick to that, and find a way to make money from home, because to have Capricorn in the 4th house and it's a full moon, this is a great time for those ideas to pop up in your head. Capricorn, that was gross. Capricorn in the 5th house. Capricorn in the 5th house, the 5th, I think, is a hard placement as well, because like I said, Capricorn, it's all about it's funny, and it's not, fun is later. Fun is after they have everything situated, or they can't have a lot of fun. So to have Capricorn in the 5th house is hard, because the 5th house is the house of children, romance, sex, fun, activities, creativity. And Saturn kind of like sometimes, because Saturn loves to teach so many lessons, Saturn puts a damper into things sometimes. And to have Capricorn in the 5th house is not the easiest placement as well. I mean, Capricorn is a hard placement, period. Like, I feel like anybody that has Capricorn prominent in their chart, and when I say prominent, like in like their big 3 or like in their really significant planets, has had a hard life. So Capricorn in the 5th house, it's a time for you to start releasing what hasn't made you feel creative. Releasing the creative blocks that you may have had. It's a time to, I feel in this full moon, like full moons are a good time to do things that you love to do. And to have Capricorn in the 5th house, it's like sometimes you don't allow yourself to have fun. And I say it's a great time. It should be a great time for you to release what's holding you back from having fun. And it will activate just those feelings that have been holding you back, and traumas like that have been holding back your creativity. So with that being said, I feel it's a great time for you to meditate and think about how you can change these things, how you can be more creative, to make money, because that's what Capricorn likes. How you can be more creative, to have fun. How can you, if you're single, right? I mean, it's okay to be single, but sometimes you want romance. So how can you get that romantic feel? Maybe you want to join a dating site. Maybe you need to step out and be more sexy. So Capricorn in the 5th house is going to activate those type of thoughts and feelings. You might have, if you're not a Capricorn, right? If you're not a Capricorn sun, you might meet somebody that is a Capricorn sun that is just super fun and showed you the time of your life out of nowhere. And you're like, wow, okay, Capricorns are really cool. I can dig that. Doesn't mean that the person's gonna stay, right? But because 5th house is not really longevity, but you never know. It could be a time when somebody significant comes into your life and yeah, kids happen or something like that. Creativity happens, romance happens, and it's like when you least expect it. So that's the things that this Capricorn full moon can bring if it falls in your 5th house. Capricorn in your 6th house. 6th house is the house of service. It's another one of the money houses, because usually when we work, we're providing a service to people in a sense. And it's also a house where it governs health as well. So it's similar to the first house in a way that you're thinking, okay, how can I get healthier? Or maybe, I mean, it's the moon, right? So good things and bad things can happen. It could be that you just found out that you're sick and you need to eat better, or you need to get into treatment, or you feel like you're starting to get sick and you're like, I gotta like really change certain things that I'm doing so I won't get sick or sicker. And those are the things that you're gonna start thinking about with Capricorn in your 6th house. Also, you may have a Capricorn. Sorry. This lighting sucks. You may have a Capricorn that needs your help. As far as like, well, Capricorns will not ask for help, but it may be a Capricorn that you meet in a hospital or something like that, or that needs your help in a certain way, as far as like maybe meal prepping or giving the person medicine or something like that, or you meet somebody in a wheelchair. It's just random things that the full moon can bring, because the full moon wanes and it makes the ocean tides go up and the ocean wanes, and we're 80% water and the moon affects us. But it can go from really good to bad. But we don't want to talk about bad, because nothing necessarily is bad. Things that happen that are bad normally are things that need to change and die so you could have something new come through. And we might hate it in the beginning, but in the end, it is what it is. Like, we get used to the change, we grow from it, we deal with it. Life goes on. So with Capricorn in the 6th house, I feel like themes about service industry workers, be careful with drug use, health, and things of that matter. So it's a really good time to start, like I'm sure people that have Capricorn in their 6th house are thinking about, okay, this is it. I'm gonna start changing the way that I eat and changing the drinking habits or the smoking or the drugs. Nothing against that. But if you're overdoing it, that's probably the things that you're thinking about with Capricorn in the 6th house. And if you have Capricorn in the 6th house, you probably are normally very strict with those things anyway. So those themes will come up regardless. And if you don't do the drugs or the drinking or the partying, you might think about, I need me some of that. So nothing wrong with anything, just giving opinions about Capricorn in the 6th house. So let's talk about having Capricorn in the 7th house and this full moon in the 7th house. 7th house rules relationships, all types of relationships, friendships, romantic relationships. And weirdly and oddly enough, it rules like open enemies. So if you already know you don't get along with somebody, that's what the 7th house rules. People that don't really like you, that's what the 7th house rules. So with this Capricorn in the 7th house, if you are seeing somebody or something like that and you're not serious, you're starting to think about, like, what are we doing? What are we? Are we committing? Because it's time. Like, I'm not here to play around. You're thinking about your relationships, and you're really thinking about who needs to remain in your life and who doesn't need to remain in your life. And also, this may reveal something about your relationship that will just change the whole dynamic. It can go from really great to really bad, or really bad to really great. Same with your enemies. It's time to keep your eyes open and your ears open wider when it comes to Capricorn in your 7th house. And yeah, it's a great time that if something is not serving you, you decide to keep it moving, you keep it moving. And that's it. So that's Capricorn in your 7th house. Full moon Capricorn in your 8th house. Let's talk about that. This is super yellow. I hate this lighting. I feel like I have the moon right here and it's just like I look creepy. But okay, so full moon in Capricorn in the 8th house. So the 8th house rules death and rebirth. So again, having a full moon, you could be experiencing having a baby. You could be experiencing losing somebody, realistically. You can be experiencing death and rebirth. Or if it's not actually physically like that, right? Because astrology is so broad and it's so wide, and it could be, figuratively speaking, it could be something like, you're like, well, I'm done. Like, I hate who I am and who I've been, and I'm just deeply transforming. So you could have something happen to you that is just like, you're never gonna be the same again. And you're just transforming into another person, transformation, right? The 8th house also rules other people's money. So if you have Saturn in your 8th house, Capricorn in your 8th house, that is a great time to play the lotto, other people's money. It's a great time to get into a new business venture, other people's money, to sell whatever you've been selling, or to start selling whatever you want to sell, other people's money. And also about property, if you're looking into buying property and stuff like that, that's something that's on your mind with Saturn in the 8th, with Capricorn in the 8th house. Oh my God, I gotta slow down, but we're like 32 minutes already. It's a long time. So let's talk about, with Saturn in your 8th house also is your partner's money. So if you have a partner, they might be having a chance. If you have Capricorn in the 8th house, they might be having like a new job. They want some money and they're gonna give you some because other people's money. So that's good news as well. It's not all bad, again, but everything in life is like good or bad, right? So Capricorn in the 9th house. Capricorn in the 9th house, the 9th house rules religion, traveling, foreign places, foreign people. So with Capricorn in the 8th house, you're probably away on vacation, or you're really planning a vacation that you really need. And this is the time to do it. I'm gonna go on vacation and meet a nice foreign person. This is the time to do it. You wanna get and learn about another religion that you didn't grow up in. This is the time to do it. You wanna learn about astrology in my channel. This is the time to do it. You wanna learn about tarot. This is the time. So also spiritualism. This is gonna bring all of that into the picture with Capricorn in the 9th house. Spiritualism, traveling, foreign things, learning new things, meeting people from other cultures, or just you end up at a place that's really different. Maybe like you didn't plan it and you end up at a place and it's like a whole different culture, food you never tried before. This is what this moon is going to bring for you. And trying new things, we always underestimate things, but just these small things can build up such a broad variety of ideas for a person that's probably just used to other things, and they just come into a new religion, a new culture, and it's like, oh my God, I love this, and this is what I want to keep doing. And with Capricorn full moon, you could probably make money that way too. It's all about what's gonna get this money going, this business, what is gonna boss me up. That's the focus. Each house rules different things, but how is it gonna boss me up in this house? Let's not forget about that. So, Capricorn in the 10th house. That is our other house of money. Capricorn, the 10th house. 10th house is similar to the first house because the first house is the physical body, how others see you. But the first house is the house of self. It's also how you feel and how you see yourself as well. But the 10th house is how the public sees you. It's not how you see yourself. It's how others perceive you. And when you have Capricorn in the 10th house, that is amazing because Capricorn in the 10th house is like, it's a good placement because you want people to see you as the boss bitch or the boss man. You want people to see you and respect you and think that you're gonna get things handled and you're responsible and you're all about work, right? But you have Capricorn in the 10th house, that doesn't mean you're all about that. But others seeing you that way, that's always a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I mean, because I have Mars in Capricorn, so I'm just like, yeah, I want to be seen that way, but I'm not because I have Cancer in that house, and I'm seeing like this mush emotional wreck, I think. But besides that, it's not about me. It's about Capricorn, 10th housers. You guys got it going on. 10th house rules the public, how the public sees you. It rules your career, your job, the jobs that you will find, how you will really be making your money, and your position in life and your outward position. And if you're not there yet, you're gonna get there. You're always gonna be looked at in a good way when it comes down to working in the workforce. So to have this full moon in the 10th house, it can mean so much. It can mean that you're getting a new job. It can mean that you're moving to work in a new place. You can be getting a promotion. You can be getting a raise. That's what this full moon is going to ignite in your 10th house. And again, let's not forget that it's not the same for everybody. This is like a basic description, right? Because I haven't talked about aspects yet. But aspects is like, if there's an aspect, for instance, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So let's just say that Saturn is really badly aspected in your chart. Even though you have Capricorn in the 10th house, to have Saturn badly aspected or squaring a whole bunch of planets, it's not gonna make things easy for you to be looked at in that way. People are gonna look at you that way, but then you might be the mean boss, right? You might be the a-hole boss or whatever, or you might have one of those. But with this full moon, it's such a great time to think positive, to do affirmations. And if you haven't had what I just mentioned as far as like a raise, a new job, let's say you got fired, it's a change. This moon is gonna bring death and rebirth. So if you got fired, understand that something better is gonna be right around the corner. Just think positive and work on you and be gentle with yourself because you got this. Let's move on to Capricorn in the 11th house. So the 10th house is how the public sees you. But the 11th house is the wish fulfillment house. And it's also like the friendship house and the humanitarian work house. And it rules also, like the 3rd house, I forgot to mention, 3rd and the 11th house rules the internet. So you might really feel like with the 11th house and having the Capricorn full moon there, you might get opportunities that has to do with wishes coming true, you know, things that you've been wanting that has to do with business ventures, your money, or if you have this video and it went viral, you have Capricorn in the 11th house and you want it, let's just say you wanted it to go viral. And it's giving you internet popularity because it rules the internet. So all of these things are ruled by the 11th house. Also, we having Capricorn there, it might be that, you know, you find out your friends are not really your friends. You find out some secrets from your friends. You find out that they've been talking shit behind your back, you know? So all of these things can happen in a full moon in Capricorn if you have Capricorn in your 11th house. Again, good and bad, good and bad, good and bad. And it could be both, good and bad. So with that being said, things might come out to light with friends. And it could be, a friend is talking shit. Or, oh no, my friend is pregnant. Or my friend's getting married. Good and bad. But things will come out to light that you didn't know that were happening before. And it's going to have to do with internet, the world in general as well. So maybe you're into politics and, you know, you're trying to get into politics and then something happens and you're like, oh, I'm in. Oh, they voted for me. Or anything like that, you know, the public, but as a whole. So the 10th house is the public in the work area. And if you're popular or not as well. But the 11th house is the public as a whole. So keep that in mind. Also is humanitarian work. So you might want to volunteer in certain places. That will bring you good karma, will make you feel really good. So all of these things you might want to do and might come up for you with the full moon in the 11th house. Oh my God, I can't talk. I should have probably done these videos separately and gotten a little break. So let's go to the last house. Capricorn full moon in the 12th house. 12th house is 12th house rules the mind. What people do not see. Hidden agendas. Hospitals, jails, crazy asylums, mental health. So to have Capricorn in the 12th house, I feel like is one of the hardest placements because people that have it there probably, you know, most likely suffer from depression and nobody will ever know. Nobody will ever know what they're feeling, thinking, their struggles. They don't ask for help. And having a full moon in this house will bring a lot of these subjects up, a lot of these things up, not subjects, like a lot of things up that you've been hiding, holding back, and keeping inside, and might get you a little depressed, or you start thinking about your traumas as well. And it's a good time to really meditate, and if you need help or you mentally feel like you can't take it, it's a great time for you to just reach out and ask for help, call a friend, call a hotline, anything like that. It's a delicate house to have Capricorn in that's ruled by Saturn. Also having Saturn in that house is very difficult as well. You're very much of a loner. And to have a full moon in that house, it's like, it might bring your secrets out that you don't like to have out because you're gonna have a lot of secrets. And just be careful. Be careful with jail. Be careful with mental breakdowns. Follow the law. And learn from your traumas. And I feel like people with Capricorn in the 12th house can make lots of money with helping others with the same trauma and same placements. That is all, guys. This video became was very long, and I'm very nervous. And when I do videos, my Dominican accent comes out and I start talking crazy. And yeah, but if you guys have any questions, hit me up. And I am going to timestamp. I'm going to timestamp each sign in each house and the introduction. And I'm going to put in some links so you guys can see where to get your chart. And it's pretty easy to read, the Pizza Pie chart. But if you have any questions after this, don't hesitate to ask in the comment section, and we'll have a conversation about it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. I'm definitely going to be doing, with this full moon as well, I'm going to be doing a pull a card spread. I'm going to pull a card for each sign. So I will be asking, what is this full moon? What changes is this full moon bringing for you as an individual? For instance, for Sagittarius, what changes is this full moon going to bring? What should the Sagittarius release? And what should the Sagittarius pick up? For an Aries, same thing. So I'm going to be doing that. That's the next videos that I'm going to do. And I'm going to pull these cards, get some advice, and enjoy this full moon, guys. It's the brightest of the year, okay? See you next time.